Hello, and welcome to Goth Mother's Reselling Adventure, Goth Mother's Closet. I sell on Poshmark and on eBay, and I do these little sporadic videos now and again to share my adventures. I watch lots of other people's adventures too. So if you like what you're hearing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as I move forward in my adventures, I do like to report back on things I've talked about or new things to talk about. So I have three things to discuss today. I'm going to talk about ListEasier, the Poshmark hack, and the Poshmark listing thing. Oh, and the fourth thing is, so here on my lip, it's not a herpes sore. So it's I had a like a little pimple there and I was picking at it and now it just looks terrible. Whether I'm wearing lipstick or not, it's just a disaster. So do not look at my face. And you can see this morning is so sunny and I have like my windows are just on this side of the apartment, this side. And so I have the window right here blocked off, but then there's the balcony window right behind me. And so you'll see the sun coming and going. I think it's going again. Um, but I do not want to block what little sunshine we have here in November in Toronto because it's very rare to see the sun. And then with daylight savings time, it seems like the sun shines its brightest around 8 in the morning when I'm not up yet. And then by the time I get my act together, I do all my morning things, checking my emails and writing on my Patreon and all these things. And then it's like, oh, it's dark again because it's noon and the sun's going to set in 2 hours now. Anyways, winter in Canada. But luckily, the days get longer in about a month because today's November 17th and the days start getting longer on the solstice in December. So we can look forward to that. In the meantime, this is the perfect kind of time of year to, as it gets colder, it does force us inside more. So maybe get us more focused on dealing with our online stores. Yesterday, I spent some time in my storage units. 'Cause I'm trying to move stuff from my personal storage unit into the unit I had gotten for my parents' stuff. And as I sell things and get rid of things, my dream is by the end of the year to have just one storage unit, which will be half my crap and half my parents' stuff, most of which I'm like the keeper of the family. So it's like my dad was a professional composer, so there's like 40 boxes of manuscripts that didn't go into the archives at the university. Like dozens of boxes of photos and stuff. My mom's in a home, so it's kind of like a two-in-one where we just cleaned out the house and so it's I don't have to go through this again when she dies. I'm already dealing with it. Um, so anyways, blah, blah, blah. So yeah. I also hope one day that as I get more organized with the storage units, that I'll take you over there and we can see what's happening there. As I ordered a light box, 'cause I see a lot of people are using the light boxes, and I got one pretty cheap on Temu. I think I don't know if it's a piece of crap or not, but it looked like the exact same one on Amazon for twice as much. So I got sucked into the wheel of fortune on Temu and bought a whole pile of things. But I did buy things like I bought more uh, shipping envelopes, bubble wrap, stuff like that, because it's dirt cheap on Temu. And I'd ordered piles of envelopes or whatever you call it, this polysporin or whatever it is, those things. I'd ordered some of those like way back when I first started my Poshmark store. Yeah, and I'm almost finished with all of them. So I ordered a pile more because they're excellent quality and super cheap. So, and I will show you these things as they arrive. They haven't, this week I'm supposed to get slammed with all these bazillions of items I impulsively bought last week. So we'll see what happens. But I'm really hoping the light box, it's supposed to be portable. So I will hopefully have room in the storage unit to set up a little area there and I can just photograph over there. But I still have tons of crap behind me and in my own, I have one closet in this tiny apartment. Like what you see is pretty much my whole apartment except for my bed around the corner over there. So I want to get rid of stuff so I can walk around, and actually now I can because um, I took about 14 boxes over last week. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. I also, you can see behind me, there's some comic book boards and bags. I boarded and bagged 100 comic books last week, which leads me into my first topic, even though I've already been talking for 10 minutes and we haven't even gotten to the topic yet. So, I made a couple videos about my experiences with ListEasier, and Josh reached out to me, as I figured he probably would when he finally saw these videos, 'cause he's pretty good about that sort of thing. So he reached out to me and, wanted to know what was happening and all that. So at the time he reached out to me on the ListEasier platform, it did say they were having a maintenance update on that Saturday night. So, because his first he wanted me to do like the reboot of the app and all that, which I'd already done 1,000 times. So I knew that wasn't going to help because I'd already done that. So I waited for the maintenance situation to happen. And then, so then the next day I did the reboot, and then I tried again with one batch of listings that I had already was in the little platform, but eBay kept rejecting, and they went through that time. So he's not sure either why eBay had the thing where it was like the self-help eBay, like we don't, he doesn't know either why I was getting those messages for the actual listings. We do know for the, trying to change photos. I understand that part of it. It was like I couldn't even get the listings on eBay at all. It was blocked with this thing about photos. But by some magic, after he reached out to me and the maintenance and the rebooting and all that, things seemed to work. And then also, I think because they're constantly updating ListEasier, I feel like they have fixed a couple things that I had difficulties with before, which is, yeah. Uh, so now I'm able to edit. I still have to do like a shift click in each picture to load them into ListEasier. It doesn't work for me how the little samples work that they show in their little videos. But anyways, I got my own workaround. I'm good. So I can still upload as many pictures as I want. And then also, you don't have to, I was doing the thing where I take exactly 10 pictures of each item, and I was being really anal about that. But then I realized, and I know they had mentioned it a long time ago, and I just kind of spaced out, where you don't have to do that. You can, like, it depends how fast you want to be and how efficient you want to be. But if you only took 4 pictures of one thing and 10 of another and 3 of another, you can just click start, finish, start, finish, start, finish. And once you load your thousands of pictures, and you can create your own length of listing photos, and it's super fast, super convenient. I was able to actually edit my photos on the ListEasier platform. I was like editing as in some of them were upside down, so I was able to flip them, stuff like that. And they do have a background remover on there too, which I haven't used yet because I'm just like dealing with comic books right now. But I'll play with that when I'm posting other things that, like jewelry or clothes or whatever. I'll play with the background remover for those things. So even right now on my Poshmark and eBay, some stuff I had background remover on, some I don't, because it's a pain in the ass. But if it's right there on ListEasier, that's fine. So I was able to create my batches and all that. So that all worked when he dealt with me. We'll never know the mysteries of why I was blocked, but we don't care. We just know it works now. So then yesterday, I went and uploaded a bunch more to ListEasier, and I do find it's getting more accurate as well. I didn't have as many like, whoa, that's not even this thing. I didn't have much of that yesterday, but I only did very small. I think I only did like 20 or something. Um, And then I'm still erasing most of what the AI pulls up because it's a lot of stuff. People don't read that stuff. They don't care. They just want to know if it's pre-owned and what the condition is. Because anyone who's buying comic books, they already know all the nerdy shit. And then how I do comic books is I'll take all the pictures of the comic book. I'll take like I try to take about 10 pictures so you can see like the cover, the back cover, the insides, and if there's like some rips and stuff. And most of my comic books are really old and they're yellowed. And they have like wear and tear, as in they may have a couple of tiny rips and stuff, but they're actually like I think they're in amazing condition, but I always put acceptable, and then I always put down, their age. There's dings, there's writing, I have like a set thing I put down to underplay the conditions. So I'm hoping that when people receive these comic books, they'll realize they're in way better condition than I said. And who knows, they may even be worth more than what I'm selling them for. So yeah, so I've bagged and boarded 100 of those things now. So I went back to the comic book store yesterday and bought more bags and boards. And this week I'll do another 100. And I asked the comic book guy, is there an easy way to do this? This whole bag and boarding taping thing, because the bags I have, you have to use tape to tape them. They're not self-adhesive. I know some of the bags, I took the old comic books out, 'cause, I had actually bagged tons of hundreds of my comic books over the years. Like 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, I had been bagging, but a lot of, like, now that I'm listing on eBay, I take them out of the bag to photograph them so you can see what they are. And a lot of those bags seem to be aged. They're a little bit wrinkly or whatever. So everyone gets a new bag. Um, I had considered I had started putting the comic books back into the bags that I'd taken them out of. But then last week I decided, no, I'm just going to bag and board all of them. But I have no pictures of the comic books actually bagged and boarded, because that would require going back and taking even more pictures. And because what I was doing is I'm taking all the pictures at once, or I'll do batches of 20 or 30 comic books. I'll stand out on the balcony and freeze to death and take these pictures, and then upload them, and then I'll to whether I do Poshmark first, then to eBay, or eBay first, then to Poshmark, whatever it is. So, but I was realizing, yeah, everyone gets a new bag and board. So, so people may not know that, but when they receive their comic book, going forward, all my comic books will say they're bagged and boarded, and it's fresh. They're brand new. I spent a lot of money on these bags and boards. Yeah, so the comic book guy said there's no easy way. It's tedious and bullshit. And I said, like, isn't there a magic fast way to deal with this? He goes, nope. Just put them in, tape them. But he said, use two little pieces of tape. I've only been using one because I'm trying to be fast. But he said, two little pieces of tape. That's how it's done. I said, yeah. Because even ones I've been pulling out of bags that even I didn't bag, but they came bagged, they had the two little pieces of tape. So I guess I'll do two pieces of tape. I was just doing one. I don't know. I don't think it matters. I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of the ListEasier update. So I haven't used up all my 100 yet of the $14, 14.99 or whatever it is platform. I'll probably buy another round of the cheap ones where you get 100 listings for now. Um, and see how that works for me, because I am, that's a lot of things to list. 100, though I have hundreds of comic books. I have hundreds of, between the Mad magazines and other magazines and stuff. I have so much printed material. I could easily do 1,000 if I had the time and energy to do that. So I'm hoping the photo boxes will help that I ordered. I ordered a small one and a large one. Like a small one, it's like 9 by 9, so I figure that'll be for little jewelries and stuff. And then, so I was reading people saying they wish they had smaller ones for the smaller things and bigger ones. So I don't really know how, they're just cheap little boxes with a ring light, really. I'm hoping the 16 by 16 is big enough for the comic books, because I really don't want to go any bigger, but they are portable. So like I said, I'll take these light boxes over to the storage unit and try and set up an area there once I'm done in the apartment. But that's going to be many months away. Then on to our Poshmark information station. So apparently last night Poshmark was hacked, or over the weekend. I know on Reddit, I go on Reddit a lot to see other people's experiences with Poshmark and eBay and reselling in general, and try and pick up tips and tricks. So on both the Poshmarks, Canada and the US, people were talking about listings disappearing and weird shit happening. And then this morning I woke up to Poshmark saying they shut my account and I have to put in a new password to access it. And now I need double authentication. So I did that and that's fine. I'm all up and running. I didn't lose any listings that I can tell. And then, so I'm trying to reconnect it to my cross lister. Um, it wasn't working yet, but I'm giving it a little bit of time to gel. And I don't know if the fact that Poshmark now is making me do the double authentication thing, like sending a phone code when I sign in, if that's going to affect the cross-listing platform. We'll see what happens with that. Like I said, I when I first, like the minute I changed my password, it wasn't registering yet. And I changed my password on Poshmark a couple weeks ago because there was some other weird stuff happening. People were talking about on the boards. Oh no, I had the weird thing where someone asked, I think I mentioned this in the video, someone asked like in the comment thing saying, "Oh, is what's the measurement of this or whatever, and is that real alligator?" And it was an alligator purse. I sure as hell don't have any alligator purses. I barely sell purses at all. And but it was listed as but it was listed on my closet, although it wasn't my name. And so I just immediately removed it before anything because I thought I'm not getting in trouble for selling alligator in Canada. I don't know if it's real or not. And then another listing appeared a couple days later that someone was questioning um, and wanted a measurement. So I feel like this is some kind of scam, and it might be related to the scam that's um, shut everything down on the weekend. I don't know. I quickly removed it and then I posted in the Poshmark Reddit, like, anyone else having this happen? I changed my password. So that's when I changed my password then. So then I noticed when I changed my password then, Prime Lister cross listing wasn't picking it up right away. Like I don't know, it wasn't whatever. I think it needed time to filter through. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm giving a couple hours for the my new Poshmark password to take hold, and then I'll try again with the cross lister. But I don't know if things are going to change because now they've made me do that double authentication thing. So I'll let you know if that changes how these, third party dicky doos work. I don't know. And then another thing that happened last week on Poshmark is one day we all signed in and all our pictures were changed. Um, Poshmark is usually the square pictures, but now everything was a rectangle, and we're all like, "Oh my God, you know, what's happening?" And people are freaking out and trying to change their pictures. And I said, I have over 1,000 listings. I'm not changing a picture. If it looks like shit, it looks like shit, and that's all I care about. Like there's no way. I have no time as it is. I'm a friggin' writer and editor. I have a huge book to edit for someone this week, and I'm not going in and um, fucking around with pictures. It is what it is. But now I see the pictures seem to be back to squares again on Poshmark Canada. That is. I don't know about the other one. I think it went back to normal. So maybe they were thinking about it. Then everyone freaked out and pointed out that no, we all our pictures are designed to be what you told us they should be. And if they're going to change it, give us some notice. But like I said, I'm never going backwards. I'm only going forwards. So if they do change it to a rectangle, then it'll be what it is, and I'll change my settings accordingly moving forward. Yeah, so that's all the kind of news I have. So yeah, so List Easier is easier for me, and I can see as I get faster and better at everything, especially photographing, it will save time. Like I said, there's still fussing and fiddling with it. You still have to do things. It's not as magical as we all wish it was, but the AI is getting smarter. And same with the Poshmark. So I've been doing a hybrid thing again where I'll list on Poshmark, then cross list to ListEasier, or I'll list on on eBay, or I'll list on eBay and then cross list over to Poshmark. Both ways are working fantastic for me. I use the Prime Lister cross lister, so I hope I get that thing up and running again after this latest Poshmark update situation. Oh yeah, and then of course everyone's freaking out about eBay. I still have my eBay closet where I don't think I ship to the States. I have no idea. I'm in that program, the EIEIO program. Um, I think there's a webinar about it tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. So I'm going to see what that's all about. I don't know if that helps me go to the States, but I haven't filled in anything on any of my listings because there's a place, at least in Canada, where you put in where the country of origin of your product is, and then I guess what that puts you in that program for that object if people from the States want to buy it, and then they deal with all the tariffs and stuff. But I'm never sure. I haven't done it yet because I don't know. Like I said, it's been a comic book week. I believe all these comic books are from the States, but for all I know, the ink is from China and the artist is from Korea, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they determine it, so I'm not doing anything about any of it for now. And of course, when get some clothes or Chachka's little figurines or whatever, those things, toys and stuff, I will do those ones because, that should be pretty straightforward. I listed a Pinocchio doll and a Jiminy Cricket doll plush. They're really cute. They're really big. They were my parents. They had it. They kept it their house for when the kids would come visit. So they have the original box. So just put them out and put them under the tree at Christmas time, that sort of thing. The kids never actually played with them. They were just decorative because I lived pretty far from my parents. It's like 3 hours. So, the kids would see them like once a month, if that, because they also had a summer place. So they'd go away 6 months of the year. So, yeah. So, anyways, things like that. I believe are from the States. I haven't looked at those tags. I haven't done nothing with that either. But anyways, I'm just prattling because I'm a prattler. You see, the sun's already setting. It's what, 12:30. Anyways, I hope you all have a great day. I hope this was a little bit informative for you, giving my adventures on ListEasier and some of the things that are happening with Poshmark and the cross listers and stuff. And I'll keep you updated as the adventure continues. Oh, and also I know a lot of people have been saying sales are slow. Again, on eBay, I still have not sold one damn thing on eBay, though I keep fussing with, trying to make the site, my little store look better. And, I just uploaded dozens of comic books and stuff. But Poshmark, I am still selling three to five items a week. I hope we can up it for the Christmas season, so I'm excited for those light boxes to come so I can photograph quickly and use ListEasier quickly to get a bunch of stuff up that people might be interested in for Christmas because I do have toys and stuff like that. That I just, it's hard to deal with a lot of stuff, especially now that it's really cold out and my balcony is super windy. Oh, the sun came back. And see, the sun is sporadic, so it's hard to take pictures with natural light out there at this time of year too. All right, that's enough. I'm done. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, go check out my stores too, please. And I'm always, always, always happy to make a bargain. Like seriously. On eBay, make me an offer. Poshmark, make me an offer. Make bundles. Bundle like 30 things in a package and make me an offer. I'm good. I'm good with all of it. I just want to move these things along in the universe. I'm not actually a reseller. I'm just trying to doing the Finnish death spiral or whatever, the death cleaning. Swedish death. I said Finnish because I'm part Finn, but Swedish death cleaning, where I'm just moving stuff into the world while I'm still alive, so my kids won't be burdened by this stuff when I'm dead. And I already know what they want. They've told me what they want, so I'm not selling anything they want. All right, bye. Have a fantastic day. Like, share, and subscribe.